Good evening. We are approaching the home straight in this transfer window, and still, Liverpool's Philippe Coutinho dominates the agenda. Barcelona have had 2 bids rejected. Coutinho has had a transfer request rejected. Liverpool are adamant the Brazilian will be a Liverpool player come September the 1st, but there is every expectation Barca will go back in with an improved offer given Coutinho's agitation to leave Anfield. Now, Jurgen Klopp was asked about Coutinho yesterday, and he said he's not part of any discussions about whether players get sold or not. Don't think we've heard the last of Philippe Coutinho in this transfer window. Staying with Barcelona and developments on another target. Listen to this. Borussia Dortmund have extended the suspension of Ousmane Dembele until further notice. The French forward missed training on Thursday after Dortmund rejected a £90 million bid from Barcelona. Now to the latest on the Monaco striker Kylian Mbappe. He was an unused substitute for today's match at Dijon amid conflicting reports about his future. One source has told us Mbappe has chosen Paris Saint-Germain as his next destination, while another says PSG will not be signing the player. If Mbappe does move to Paris, the issue of financial fair play will once again be brought into focus following the arrival of Neymar. Now, one man who did play the whole game for Monaco today was the winger Thomas Lemar. Arsenal remain interested, but the French club say he's not for sale. Talks between the clubs have halted for now, as we're told Arsenal's priority is to trim the squad before making any more new signings. Now, could one departure yet be Kieran Gibbs? Watford remain interested, but there's still plenty of negotiating to do over a price, and it's thought Gibbs's wages could prove an obstacle too. Now, other potential exits at the Emirates include Carl Jenkinson and Matthew Debuchy. They remain Arsenal players for now, but we're told the club would consider offers, and talks are ongoing with Jack Wilshere and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain about their futures. Both have a year left on their contracts. Wenger has publicly said he wants Oxlade-Chamberlain to remain at Arsenal. The forward, Lucas Perez, though, is a man whose future is almost definitely away from Arsenal. Newcastle United and Deportivo La Coruña are keen, but his agent believes he's being priced out of a move. Now, the Newcastle United manager, Rafa Benitez, was asked if the club was closer to bringing players in, and this was Rafa's response.
The situation is the same that we had before the game, so it doesn't change too much. So we knew that what we needed, and we know what we need.
So Benitez knows what he needs, but will he get it? In a candid and rare interview, the Newcastle owner Mike Ashley has admitted to Sky Sports that he hasn't given Benitez enough money to spend in the transfer window. Newcastle have made 4 permanent signings since promotion to the Premier League, and Ashley says they won't live beyond their means.
Is it almost impossible now? I don't want to say to you how much money you're giving Rafa Benitez, but is it impossible now for anybody?
Enough. Sorry to interrupt. Not enough. Very simple. It's not enough. Yeah? And Rafa knows that. It's not enough. It's not a secret. Every penny the club generates he can have, but it won't generate enough. It's Newcastle United. It doesn't have a 40 million a year naming stadium rights deal. It doesn't. So I don't want the fans to watch this interview and think, that's great, Rafa's getting 150 million in the morning. He's not. Rafa is with Lee Charnley's help, and Lee Charnley answers to Rafa, not the other way round, so we're crystal clear. Rafa makes all the final decisions on players out, players in. But he has to do it with the money the club have.
Despite their victory today, the Tottenham manager Mauricio Pochettino is determined to add to his squad. Spurs are the only Premier League side yet to sign a player this summer.
We will try to improve the squad. It's sure that we need and we must to sign a few players more. Sure that happen. We are working hard to try to bring some new energy. It's sure that next week or the week after we will sign
So you think something might happen soon?
Yes, of course.
Well, one of the big bits of business Tottenham have done this summer is selling Kyle Walker to Manchester City for £50 million. Tottenham have been linked with buying a replacement, but do they need to? Kyle Walker-Peters made his debut at right back today, and we can take a look at how the two players compare now. Now, we are looking at Kyle Walker of Manchester City and his performance against Brighton yesterday to Kyle Walker-Peters of Tottenham and how he fared at Newcastle on Super Sunday. And as you can see, the 20-year-old had a day to remember. He covered more distance, made more sprints, had a better pass completion rate as well than Kyle Walker. The pair made the same number of key passes, but have a look at the tackles. It was the younger Kyle Walker-Peters that did the better of the two. Mauricio Pochettino has also been speaking to us and praised his player's man of the match performance against Newcastle.
I think it was fantastic. The serve, the trophy, very happy for him. Happy for the another fullback that scored and two, and I think his dream become true and play on Premier League and was nominated man of the match. I think it was fantastic. I think he deserved because play was very relaxed before, during the game, always trying to play, help the team. I think he deserved and showed very good quality.
Yeah, Tottenham's lack of business thus far has been much publicised. They are the only club not to make any signings in this window. But as you've been hearing, Pochettino is confident that will change soon. Could Ajax defender Davinson Sanchez be joining? We're told there is an interest and the player was not included in the Ajax squad for Saturday's defeat at Heracles. Ajax boss Michael Kaiser said Sanchez has too much on his mind and did not find himself motivated enough. The Ajax director of football, Mark Overmars, has told the player he does not want to let him go just 1 year into a 5-year contract. Furthermore, he's been offered improved terms on a new deal. Now, staying with Tottenham, and talks continue with Celta Vigo over the midfielder Papi Cech Diop. Tottenham keen to conclude a deal for the player next week. Diop made 19 appearances for Celta last season. Another player that Tottenham are keen on, and we've been hearing about this throughout this window, is Everton's Ross Barkley. He's into the final year of his contract and will not be signing a new one. No official offers yet, but manager of Everton, Ronald Koeman, still expects Barkley to leave the club. So, potential departure in the form of Ross Barkley. What about arrivals at Everton? Well, the transfer of Gylfi Sigurdsson is close. One source claims it could be concluded this week. Swansea want £50 million, and when that deal is finalised, could be a domino effect. Swansea can then look at bringing in players. So, who is on Swansea City's list? Well, they're interested in bringing back the striker, Wilfried Bony. Swansea sold him to Manchester City 2.5 years ago, you'll remember, for £28 million. Who else do Swansea want? Well, they still want the Stoke midfielder, Joe Allen, and that's despite Stoke's insistence the player is not for sale. Swansea had an approach rejected last week, and Allen played the full 90 minutes of Stoke's defeat at Everton yesterday. Another player Swansea are keeping tabs on is the West Brom winger Nasser Chadli. West Brom, though, are reluctant sellers, but the Belgian international was an unused substitute in yesterday's 1-0 win over Bournemouth. What about arrivals at West Bromwich Albion? Well, we expect them to go back in for this man, the Middlesbrough defender Ben Gibson. Borough are under no pressure to sell, though, and Gibson has played both of their opening 2 games this season.
Stay with us for Premier League goals here on Sky Sports News. All the action from Super Sundays on the way from 7:30. There's lots more transfer news next. We'll get the latest on the future of Philippe Coutinho.
It's a shame. That's the first thing you have to say, you know, that player power's coming to the forefront again. I think, really, ironically, West Ham and Payet sort of last season. I think he's the real catalyst for players now. We've looked at Van Dijk as well this season, transfer requests, wanting to force a move. It's a shame that it's happened the day before the season starts, but then all the notorious back spasms and illnesses and all these kind of things come out to play, don't they, by players that want to or not play for their current teams, and then suddenly they get these injuries. Listen, it's a difficult situation for Jurgen Klopp, isn't it? He's trying to build. He wants to challenge for the Premier League title this year. Philippe Coutinho is a player that he would like to depend on, but now the player wants to leave. He's in a very difficult position. And now, as the manager says, it's down to the bosses to decide whether he's going to stay or go.
A reminder, we have Premier League highlights from both Super Sunday games coming up for you at 7:30 here on Sky Sports News. And look out for the performance in particular of Nemanja Matic of Manchester United. Signed from Chelsea this summer, could he be the difference for Jose Mourinho this season? Well, Matic has been trending on social media this afternoon, and this might be the reason why. He made 69 passes against West Ham today. That's the most in the United side. His pass completion was up at 86%. He was looking to pass forward with 32 accurate passes. He was involved in the highest number of duels for United with 19, had the joint highest tackles, and recovered possession of the ball 9 times. Again, that was the highest in the United team. So all of that has left Sky Sports' Gary Neville wondering why Chelsea let him go.
You made Matic your man of the match. Could he be a game changer, a difference maker for Manchester United?
Your biggest rivals by letting him have one of your best players. I mean, he's a 7, 8, 9 out of 10 every week. I mean, he just contributes in every game he plays. If he's not being great on the ball, he's doing a great job defensively. I think he saw a bit of everything today. You know, good going forward, good holding, and when he got on the ball and he could spread it, he did that as well.
Can you
the only criticism, not enough goals.
Can you think of one reason why Chelsea have sold him? I can't think of one reason that would make sense for Chelsea.
Hello again. Let's go now to Leicester City and the saga that is Riyad Mahrez. It rumbles on. Sky in Italy are reporting Roma want a resolution one way or another by midnight on Tuesday. They've had bids rejected already, and Mahrez told us he wanted the opportunity to talk to Roma, though it's understood his preference is to stay in the Premier League. There could be another exit at Leicester City, and Derby County are close to agreeing a deal for striker Tom Lawrence. The fee would be around £7 million, but still plenty of work to do before that one gets over the line. To Chelsea we go, and boss Antonio Conte wants reinforcements. They still have an interest in Valencia defender João Cancelo, but the Valencia chief executive says there is no offer on the table. Cancelo was scouted extensively during pre-season and while he was playing for Portugal in the European Under-21 Championships. Now, potential exit at Chelsea is their left-back, Baba Rahman. Do you remember him? Yeah, Schalke sporting directors say they're in talks with the player, his advisor, and Chelsea about a return to the club. Rahman was on loan there last season, but hasn't played since suffering a serious knee injury playing for Ghana back in January. To Manchester United we go, and Jose Mourinho wanted 4 players in this window. He got 3. Is the last one just out of reach? United have been after Inter Milan winger Ivan Perisic for a while now, but his coach Luciano Spalletti claims the Croatian international is determined to stay at the San Siro. United, though, could, of course, get a 4th player in, but perhaps by the end of the year. Talks are ongoing to sign you-know-who, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. What of United's Super Sunday opponents? Beaten 4-0 today, West Ham United. It could be 1 in, 1 out at the London Stadium. Talks continue with Sporting Lisbon over midfielder William Carvalho. We are told West Ham are hopeful of bringing him to the club. One man, though, who is on his way out is Sofiane Feghouli. The winger is flying to Turkey tomorrow to sign for Galatasaray. The fee is thought to be £4 million. Not bad business, this, for West Ham United. Feghouli signed on a free transfer just last summer.
The Newcastle manager Rafael Benitez is unhappy that he's not been able to make more signings this summer. Mike Ashley told us this week that he's given Benitez as much money as possible, and you can hear more from that interview with the Newcastle owner on the Sky Sports Premier League channel right now. Well, Benitez saw his side lose 2-0 at home to Tottenham this afternoon, and after the game he spoke to our reporter Patrick Davison.
Mike Ashley's obviously here today, spoken to Sky a couple of days ago. Will you be speaking to him about what you need? That's obviously been the big story over the last couple of days.
I don't know.
No, you wouldn't want to speak to him?
No, I don't know if I will see him.
So he decides that?
Yeah.
But you'd like to?
I'm concentrated on my job with my players.
Have you seen anything about what he said?
Yeah, but I'm just concentrated on my players.
Southampton are being praised for their stance in the Virgil van Dijk transfer saga. Their former defender, Francis Benali, has told us that the defender is good enough to play for Barcelona or Real Madrid, but says he wouldn't be surprised if his old club managed to keep hold of their defender.
I'm pleased to see Southampton take the stance they have. Virgil van Dijk, when I've met him on a number of occasions, seems a real decent guy. I mean, he's a world-class player, in my opinion. Saw a lot of him since he's been playing at Southampton. Surprised if Southampton keep him beyond the transfer window closing and he remains a Southampton player.
Former Manchester City and Newcastle goalkeeper Shay Given is still on the lookout for a club this summer. Given was most recently with Stoke but left at the end of last season. He's told our Goals on Sunday programme that he can still play at a good level.
I feel fine, as I say, still training with Macclesfield, and that's been a good thing for me as well, in the sense that, you know, I'm out training with the lads and joining in the games, the small side of games and things like that, and I still feel sharp. I still feel like I could play at a level and perform at a level, and that's important. As I say, you can only be so fit in the gym. So, but I miss the everyday, you know, when I wasn't training even with Macclesfield, I missed the everyday banter, as you know. I've been in the changing room with the lads every day and the crack you have and all that. And I'm going to miss that whenever it ends, if it's this summer, next summer, whenever. But even me back into Macclesfield, some of the crack with the lads and just everyday banter you're going to miss when you hang up the gloves.
And what about this for a transfer story? Bury tweeted that they had signed Alex Bruce this morning, and then this afternoon, the defender, on his debut, scored a goal.